So I want to talk a little bit about the difference of focusing on people instead of programs. Here's a big mistake that I made for many years, right? I thought that I knew what was best for our students, our communities, our organizations because of my experience in education. For some reason, I thought that limited experience led me to have the answers on what was best for every student. And I had a limited worldview, I had limited experience, and even though that experience has grown over time, I still don't know what's best for every student. In fact, that's okay. And it should actually be our starting point for creating a curriculum and learning experience. This idea that we don't know exactly what's best for every student. Yeah, we have standards. We still have to deal with those pesky standardized tests and college admission processes that are outdated and not supported by research. We want each and every student to have a quality experience. And yes, we want students to gain the fundamental skills and knowledge they need to be successful in and out of schools. But curriculum needs to be adaptable. It needs to be flexible. It needs to support the idea that our students, as Dr. Bishop says, need windows, mirrors, and sliding doors in their lessons, activities, resources, and assessments. The curriculum needs to be malleable and resilient. If an entire school had to shift to remote learning, the curriculum should support that shift. If an individual or classroom student needs to go hybrid, the curriculum should not be any less worthy than if they were fully in person. How, though, you may be asking, can we do this, right? How is this possible in the ever-changing landscape of K-12 education? Well, I want to start with a simple step. A simple step is making this a reality to focus on the people, not the programs, when designing any type of change, especially if it revolves around curriculum and ultimately learning experiences. I remember when educator Lyn Hilt wrote, "It's people, not programs." She said, "Isn't this the truth? How often do schools, teachers, administrators buy into a program or tool thinking, hoping, praying that it'll be a golden ticket to improved reading scores or math fact fluency or a more positive school climate?" Too often, we rely on programs. Those programs were not adaptable in March of 2020. The people were. Those textbooks were not flexible in March of 2020. The teachers were. Those assessments were not resilient last March. The educators were. And now, a year and plus removed from the start of everything changing in education, we're at a crossroads, right? Many schools are back in person. Many are still hybrid, concurrent, parallel. And some students are still remote. Some schools around the world are still remote. Whatever happens the next few months or the next few years, one thing remains true, which is we'll always have to be adaptable, as we always have been as educators. When we look at our current outdated curricula, will we start with the people or the programs? When we look at our assessments and performance task redesigns, will we start with the people or the programs? When we talk about what worked, what didn't, what we want to cut, what we want to keep, what we want to create, will we start with our students and our communities, our teachers, our people, or the programs? You can look at all the research you want, but the people in education already know what the research is going to tell you because we live it and see it every single day. We know that the culture of testing doesn't create or lead to more achievement. It's why there has been a groundswell of educators creating and using performance tests for years. We know many of our texts and resources and materials are outdated, not relevant to our students. It's why there's been a movement around open education resources and teacher-created resources that work for our kids. We know that curriculum can't be static and not all standards are important. We know that 1,100 math standards between K through 12, there's something of a problem there when kids have to master a new standard every couple days they're in school, their entire K through 12 experience. We know that the human and social side of learning is what we have to focus on first before the content is other relevant. We've been doing the work, right? You've been doing the work. The people have been doing the work. In order to create an adaptable curriculum that works for every student, we have to start with our people. We have to listen to our students and our community. We have to build it from the ground up and invest the time and energy in developing something that works. If we choose to rely on a program instead of using resources, materials, and programs to support our people, then we'll always be playing from behind. When the curriculum is developed by your teachers for your community of learners, then it, and I know this sounds crazy, works for your students. This is hard work, right? Most of us are trying to stay afloat right now in education. We've seen many of these issues that have been present for a very long time bubble to the surface even more during the pandemic. It takes time to develop an adaptable curriculum. It takes time to develop meaningful performance tasks. It can't be solved by buying any program or singular resources. And as ASCD points out, the most notable successes occur in schools and districts whose teachers build their own admittedly imperfect curriculum. So maybe we have to go slow to go far right now. Maybe it will take longer for the people to do the work under the current circumstances. But the alternative of taking a shortcut with a program just won't work. Give me people over programs every single day. It's not even a debate, right? Thank you to all the people who have worked their tails off this past year and every single year. These people make me proud to be an educator, and it's the people we need to invest in and focus on in order to continue to move forward and continue to create something that works for all our students.